Drawing hands in general is really hard, but it doesn't have to be. Today I'm going to be showing you how to draw dragon hands very easily. Starting off with a basic hand shape. Later we'll dive into paws and maybe bird-like kind of hands. So you're gonna start off with a trapezoid, and then you're going to be adding a triangle on the side of it. This triangle is very important because this is the base for your thumb. Not your thumb, but the thumb that you're drawing, you know. I suggest you to really lean into the curves here because that makes the dragon hand look dragon and not human. And of course it can be done without a talon at the end. Now for the longer fingers, I usually divide them into 3 parts. That makes it easier to remember how to draw them. When you're first starting out, I suggest you to just separate the pointer finger and then group the middle finger and the ring finger together. That makes them easier to draw. Also, try not to make the ring finger longer. That's not supposed to happen, but I let it slide here because it looks somewhat decent. And also make the pinky splay out a little bit. That's how it usually does. When you spread your own fingers, you're gonna see it. Then draw the optional but not so optional wrist attachment. It adds so much movement in my opinion. I usually love adding it. And now for the segments and color, and that's your basic dragon hand. Now let's move on to the paw. This is actually much simpler than the hand, so you're gonna love this if you're a beginner. Starting off with the exact same trapezoid shape, and then without segmenting anything, we're just going to be drawing the ends of the fingers. What really makes this shape shine is the claws, so we're going to be adding very sharp, nice claws. Don't worry about that line in the middle, we're going to be erasing that. Also don't forget the thumb, of course. Now just cleaning up a little bit, adding some additional details, and then of course the dreaded wrist attachment. I'll just erase the guidelines you don't need anymore, and you can make the paws a little bit puffier. This is perfect if you love drawing furries, no judgment here, I just love that style personally. Now I'm just gonna try and explain why we shorten the initial segmentation. If you look at lion paws, for example, you can see that they usually just show the tips of the fingers. Most of the fingers are still there, but like the bone structure is mostly hidden. The structural lines are still there, but they are just not as visible, so I usually just choose to skip them altogether. You can show them, some people like to draw it this way, I personally don't. It looks a little bit cluttered to me. And there we go, that's the paw. Now moving on to the final bird-like hand. The trick here is actually draw the hand just the same way you would draw the normal, quote-unquote normal hand, but you're just going to make the fingers a little bit thinner and longer. This time, instead of starting from the trapezoid, I started from the wrist. Of course, I love to boast about that wrist attachment. It's not even that quirky and different. I don't know why I'm just so obsessed with it. Now you saw that in the paw, we didn't have to use that triangle, but when you wanna really define thumb, that triangle really helps you define it. Anyways, from the process you can see I'm basically just making it a little bit thinner and longer. That's the entire wisdom. Only here I chose not to group the middle finger and the ring finger together, just to show you that you can actually separate them and it still looks really good. And there you go, now you're a pro at drawing dragon hands. Different versions even. If you're interested in getting different poses, I actually made a reference sheet. It's on my Patreon, so if you want to check that out, I would really appreciate it. Subscribe for more, and that's it. Thank you for watching.